What's up, guys, and welcome to Gamer Nation here on Smosh Games, where we are talking about our favorite consoles just from the beginning of time till now. Yes, I mean the prehistoric systems like NES, remember that one? And also with us, we have Rachel Moore, a fellow YouTuber, and does video games on Twitch, gameplay stuff, and talks about all of her favorite stuff. So she's going to be here giving us her expert opinion on consoles as well. So starting with just consoles and like which ones affected us most greatly and our favorites. Lasercorn, do you have one that stands out?
I really liked the Super Nintendo. I think that's where my gaming addiction solidified, was with the Super Nintendo. You had like Rock and Roll Racing and The Lost Vikings and Zombies Ate My
Isn't there
Neighbors.
another one of those?
Yeah, that game was awesome. The Cave, that game that just came out is a little bit like
Kinda
Lost
like
Vikings, only instead of fighting, it's more puzzle solving. But yeah, you can move the characters around separately. That was a great game. We definitely do need a sequel to that, or a remake or a reboot. But yeah, that's where I spent most of my time. Like, Nintendo was great, and we had a Nintendo, but I felt like I didn't really play it as much or get into it until we got the Super Nintendo. I'm like, this is awesome! And that's when it really just all came together for me. Yeah. So, Hinky?
Well, I went over to my friend's place whenever I wanted to get a Nintendo fix, but personally, the one that I had was the Sega Genesis. It was one magical Hanukkah evening, and I remember my parents brought home this big box, and it was like one present for all. I was like, what? It's just one for all of us. That's kind of messed up. I wanted my own present. We opened it up, and it was the Sega Genesis pack that came with Sonic the Hedgehog, the original one. And we played that game pretty much all night for like, well, until they made us go to sleep. But Sega Genesis, man, so good. You got Toe Jam and Earl, Earthworm Jim. Just so many good games.
Vector was the
Vector Man?
The Vector Man was the Sega Genesis exclusive. I think it's kind of funny having like the two of you next to each other. You got one Nintendo, one
And you
Genesis
had
man.
Also one of the best beat 'em ups ever in Streets of Rage. Come on. Streets of Rage
that one was a
1,
classic
2,
Sega
3.
Maximum Carnage! Way better.
Disagree.
Awesome.
Completely disagree. The music is better in Streets of Rage. The fighting's better in Streets of Rage.
The music in Maximum Carnage was
Let's
green
save this
jelly.
for later. Rachel, how about
Rachel,
you?
how about you?
I'm sticking with the Dreamcast. I
Ooh,
thought,
Dreamcast.
yeah,
That
it
one did well.
spearheaded so much of what we take important in gaming now: online gameplay, online chat, and it had some amazing games. You know, it had one of my favorites was Illbleed and Shenmue. I just thought
Lots of
Dreamcast
people love
was
Shenmue.
way ahead of its time, and the games were super creative.
The controller was also very innovative, which I think you saw a lot of that game design or the controller design later on. Like look at the Xbox and look at Dreamcast, it's practically almost the same thing.
Right. Well, even with the VMU, now we see that in the Wii U with the actual little
That's
screen
true.
and stuff.
In fact, I remember buying a Sega Dreamcast used just so I can get 2 sensor guns and House of the Dead 2.
Nice, yeah.
I feel like for the rest of the episode, when people say Sega Dreamcast, they have to say like Sega Dreamcast.
Sega Dreamcast. That's a great console. It really gets overlooked because of its success was minor, but like it had so much greatness to it.
It did.
I have to say this. I took a trip when I was way younger to Jamaica, and the only system they had there when I was there was the Sega Dreamcast. So that has to count for something.
In Jamaica.
Favorite system of Jamaica.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, why didn't they just advertise that with that, like with the one line? For me personally, I know we're talking about consoles, but I would really like to stress the importance of the Game Boy Advance. Like the Game Boy was great, but it took so many batteries, it was kind of big and clunky. But as soon as the Game Boy Advance came out, or the Game Boy Color, it just kind of like revolutionized like every car drive I ever had growing up. Like bathroom time or driving just was like Pokemon or whatever any other handheld game I had.
Yeah, it was pretty much a Pokemon machine for me. I don't think I played any other game.
And do you remember like the old school link up to be able to trade with people?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Just, like,
the
live
battles.
battle?
Yeah, the battles were awesome.
Like,
it's
you
an
sneak into
RPG,
school?
but it's versus.
Yeah.
This is insane.
I destroyed everyone in the battles because I had Mewtwo
I would've
and
beaten
Mew.
you. I would've
No,
beaten you.
you would have been destroyed.
I'm so left out of this conversation. I never got into Pokemon.
Pokemon was the only reason
tried.
I'm not into handheld gaming at all, but Pokemon was the only reason I ever played any handheld.
That's the exception. Pokemon and Tetris. I played those two.
I need to know, like, can you elaborate on why not Pokemon? Like, I'm not as much of a fan now because I think it's a bit diluted, but at least back then it was a great role playing, I think.
I don't even know why. Like I tried it. Everybody was talking about Yellow at the time that I tried it, so I tried Yellow.
Blue.
And I just, nothing grabbed me about it. I was like,
Interesting.
I thought it was
She
kind
was
of
into
repetitive.
real games at the time, folks.
Oh yeah, yeah,
It
definitely.
was too hard.
Tom and Jerry, right?
Tom and Jerry.
That was
Oh,
my
yeah.
big
That was
Game
the
Boy
hardcore
game.
one.
Let's move along to Twitter questions.
Yes, let's get some tweets from the fans because you just heard from us. All right, so let's see what you guys said to us by following us on Smosh Games. Normally on Mondays, I'll be like, hey, here's the question of the week. I got the bullet. He doesn't get it back.
Aw.
Yeah. So this time we had Pora, Sonan. Yes, I make funny sounds when people shoot things at my face.
You sounded like a stuck pig. That was great.
Whee! All right, so what Pora said was the Wii/Wii U because Nintendo was so original, and I don't know. I think all the consoles had their time in the sun to be original. But how would you respond to that, Rachel?
I don't think we've seen enough of the Wii U to really judge it against the Wii yet.
Against the Wii? Okay. Well, what about
Wii
the
was a
Wii as a
mess.
standalone versus the Xbox and PlayStation? Do you think that they were innovative enough to actually cause the Kinect and the PlayStation Move rise?
Yes, I think the Wii definitely spawned that out of PS3 and Xbox, and I think the Wii does it the best, or the Wii U does the motion controls best. But I still, if I have to pick between three, go with 360.
Okay. Even Kinect versus.
No, not
Wii.
Kinect. I
No,
hate
just-
Kinect.
Yeah, the
I
Kinect
hate
was
Move.
terrible.
I hate that stuff. So if it's motion control, I'm gonna go with the Wii.
All right. Next up, we have Flameman Ox or Flamin' Ox. Xbox, because it has so many things to do other than games, like movies and music, and it makes it much easier to play with friends. Which, when you want to compare consoles that make it difficult to play with friends, look at what you had to do with on the Wii.
Yeah.
You had like, what was it, 16-digit code?
Yeah.
I don't even remember my friends' phone numbers, let alone their Nintendo code.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
You look at the PlayStation and it has all those features. The only thing that is missing, like you said at the end, I think the one valid point is the connectivity with friends. That's obviously what Xbox has over everyone else.
But it was kind of neat with the Xbox and PlayStation becoming more than just a gaming console. It was a multimedia entertainment system.
Yeah.
Right.
So it
Pop a
definitely had
DVD in there.
that. All right, next we have from Awkward Science or Silence.
Probably awkward silence, yeah.
Awkward Science would be much cooler though.
That would be a cool name.
Hooked on Phonics didn't work for Joe.
Not at all. My Game Boy Advance, because without it, I wouldn't have gotten into gaming, which I think that's also a really important just aspect to look at. Like, what console led the most wave of new gamers? Do you guys have an opinion on that one?
I don't know. New gamers?
Yeah.
That's hard to say.
You're saying which
Which
console
or
brought the
handheld
most people
gamer brought in a new
converted?
wave?
I think Nintendo probably has the
Yeah.
market cornered on that because parents that are afraid of their kids getting addicted to video games are like, well, here's one we can play together, and then they
Yeah.
buy them a Wii or a Wii U or whatever. So I think Nintendo kind of has that market cornered.
Yeah,
for
I don't
sure.
know if you could nail it down to one console, but I'll agree with Sohinki that as far as one brand or whatever, Nintendo has definitely been the one that's constantly trying to get more people into gaming.
Which, yeah, it works.
Yeah.
So, congratulations to you on Nintendo. And you know what? I'm with you on the whole Game Boy thing. Like I said earlier, just me and my Game Boy, we were inseparable. It was kind of sad. Man, I did not have friends when I was younger.
I still don't.
We can all be friends now.
Yay! Internet friends.
Happy days.
So that's all of us. Thank you for sending in your tweets. But now, for our favorite segment here on Gamer Nation, and your new favorite segment too, we give you PvP.
The topic today is Sega versus Nintendo. Everybody's going to get 30-second argument with a 15-second rebuttal. So you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, so I'm going to be playing the advocate of Sega today.
I'm going to be talking about Nintendo.
Cool. And who's going up first, Rachel?
Call it.
Heads.
It is heads.
You're gonna have to
I'll
press
go
on that
second.
Okay.
Yeah.
The correct response is let this choke go first. But okay.
I didn't want to steal your thunder
Thank
from
you,
last
yeah,
time.
yeah.
And you are going.
All right, Super Nintendo versus the Sega Genesis, no competition really. I mean, you've got, like I said before, the Lost Vikings, Rock and Roll Racing, you've got Maximum Carnage, some of the best games ever. So Hinky's trying to tell you that the music is better in Streets of Rage? No, man. Green Jelly, I still remember that guitar riff. Carnage just murdering people in the video game, it was awesome. And I mean, look at what's still going today. Hey, is Sega still coming out with new systems? What's that hot new Sega system? Nothing! Nintendo did it right, Nintendo did it better, and that's why it is the better system.
Done.
Now, we are talking about back in the day. Though,
I know,
so,
but
okay.
if you did it right, then
Yeah, okay.
whatever.
And
Wait till your clock starts.
all right, go.
All right, so obviously we mentioned the games before. Sonic the Hedgehog, you got Toe Jam and Earl, Earthworm Jim, Echo the Dolphin. There's so many good games for Sega, but the one thing that Sega had over Nintendo was a magical thing that I would like to call, well, that they called Sega Channel. Now what this was a subscription service where you'd have access every month to 60 different games, including games before they even came out. That was innovative. That was awesome. Nintendo didn't have anything like that. So Sega Channel is just sort of the trump card in terms of why Sega was better than Nintendo back in the day. It's only 15 bucks a month.
Done. All right, you got 15 seconds on the clock.
Sega Channel, that's the best thing? No, it's about making good games. It doesn't matter if you could get access to those games early. That doesn't matter. It's all about good games. And Super Nintendo just had the better games. They had Metal Warriors. They had all the good games, man. Super Nintendo was better. I mentioned a bunch of good games before. Yep.
Sorry. All right.
Do not apologize. Use that bad hammer on him.
Done. And you go.
Well, I think that's sort of up to opinion, but I think sort of mass appeal in terms of Streets of Rage versus Maximum Carnage, that kind of thing. The music was way better in Streets of Rage. I don't know what you're talking about. You also had Comic Zone, which is one of the greatest games ever. Comic Zone back in the day, flipping through the panels, all the different cells, beating up mutants and stuff. That game was awesome.
Done.
So it looks like you guys just were arguing with exclusive titles. Oh, of course I put you next to the bullet. Nope, wait, I got to intro. Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. I got outro her. Outro her. Fight for it later. So Rachel, thanks so much for showing up on Gamer Nation here today.
Thank you for having me.
Where can we find your you on the internet?
I am on Twitter, which is @TheRachel. YouTube, I do a lot of gaming content, which is Rachel Moore. And Twitch, I do gameplay and live streams, which is Twitch TV @TheRachel.
All right, and guys, we will have links to all those descriptions down below. But until
Chrono
next
Trigger,
time,
that's what I was trying to think of when I was stuttering before.
Sega Channel.
All
about the Sega Channel.
guys, Gamer Nation, Smosh Games, we love you. See you later. Ah, no.